much the same, and coming in here, they now need to fight for their very lives. They will, of course, have a second opportunity. Whoever loses this game will face off against Team Secret in that relegation match next weekend, so there is another opportunity. All is not lost on the back of this game, but I know what I'd rather be going to bed thinking tonight, and that is I'm in a UL next year rather than I've got another game to play to try and get there.
Very true. And I think that's what kind of, it almost makes it a little bit sweeter for at least all of us watching. I know if you're the players, you absolutely want the auto promotion. But to us as the viewers, watching two teams who have played incredibly so far today, so many phenomenal plays, so many individual moments of brilliance that we all celebrate. And I look forward to seeing whoever loses this, it still, of course, will go to the 5th map that they get to play next weekend against Team Secret for the other spot in EUL. That in itself will be exciting. Now, bans coming in. The Thatcher to start things off, pretty staple and standard. The Buck, an interesting one, at least in my books, especially coming out of HellRaisers, because they've, sorry, not HellRaisers, coming out of HellRaisers, yes. They're the ones who have played it throughout this series the most. You've seen Smash by Ash especially stepping onto it an awful lot, but it's been their go-to ban, and the Wamai has now been the other one coming out that we saw back in the previous map. So a little bit of spice being thrown in the mix there, Tim.
Indeed. Now then, looking at the starting sides, as we touched on, it does depend on the teams that are playing. It's not as simple as saying that Villa is defender-sided anymore. That has sort of long gone, but MNM do come in on the defence, and if they can lock down a couple of these sites, get themselves a 4-2 half, you feel like they've almost got 1 foot in EUL at that point, with that nice advantage that it will bring along with it. But HellRaisers have shown a phenomenal ability so far, particularly in map 1 and 2, Coastline and Clubhouse, to play from behind. We saw both games where they were 5-3 down and they were able to fight their way back into it. So this HellRaisers side is absolutely never finished. They don't know when they're beaten, and they will keep fighting down to the very wire. I have absolutely no doubt. Now, round 1, we're going to see a defence of Aviator and Games coming in from MNM. And for me, Des, if MNM want to get this over the line here, they've got to be a little bit more clinical. That's the word that I would use. When they've had those opportunities, particularly on attack so far today, they've sometimes struggled to get it over the line. They've sometimes struggled to get that round or two that they need just to really sort of take it to HellRaisers and really put them under pressure and really keep that gap between them on the scoreboard. They haven't always consistently done that. So for me, MNM need to come out here and more than ever now just absolutely put HellRaisers to the sword, whereas HellRaisers, they just need to dig in deep, get the heels stuck in, and manage to get a few first rounds would really help.
A couple of spicy changes coming in. The one I'm looking at here, of course, being the OSA in the bottom right corner of your screen for Rush. We saw this coming out on Coastline. It wasn't really effective because HellRaisers lost 2 members in the first 15 seconds of the round, so you can't really call that a complete round and an example of what they can achieve. Exodus at least moving nice and quick here on the underside, reminding me an awful lot of Empire. You'll see Joystick do this a lot when playing on this map, on the Ash no less here rather than on the Yana, which we can see Exodus bringing along. But I want to keep a close eye on Rush and see what he can achieve with this OSA. Will they plant down the shields and then go in to try and get the diffuser off? The main thing they've got to watch out for here really is the C4 coming out of Solotov, as well as the 2 impacts coming out of Tyrant. If they are both expended, of course, as well as the C4 that's here for Yuzus, then these shields are free reign. They can do whatever they want with them. And here's the first one being set up here, just to give them a bit of vision into the site itself with very minimal risk on their side.
That's it. Solotov now needs to be very careful peeking that angle, because, of course, he might well find himself face-to-face with an attacker behind that shield, who then has a significant advantage in that gunfight, given that they can choose the very moment that they pop up and look to make that challenge. Now then, Yuzus is going to see the second shield deploy. He tries to ping it out, but he's just going to hit the furniture in front of him. The second one will do the job.
Pokeball, I choose you.
There you go, to front up to that shield being played by Tyrant on 90 corridor, but it is very easily cleared out by that impact nade.
See Rush sat behind the one that's still remaining here, looking inside of Aviator as well. Just daring anyone to try and peek their head above the water and find out what happens next. In fact, he's redeployed it and is looking to carry it forward here behind these drones as well. There is a jammer not too far away, but if he can keep on doing this, it's like a game of red light, green light. You know, when they look away and no one's watching, pick it up and move forwards. Red light, down goes the shield, sit still again for another 5 seconds. Turns out Villa was Squid Game all along.
Exodus is going to take some damage there, down to half health. Smash trying to work from underneath,
nice
gets the nade down onto Tyrant. That is great work from underneath. Second one will finish the job, and that's going to leave us with an opening kill for HellRaisers. 5 versus 4, and Rush continues to apply pressure onto this map's door. He's going to redeploy that shield once again, and they really are setting themselves up, but it will be destroyed. Big play there. That's all of the OC utility gone, and HellRaisers are now reduced to a normal master bedroom-sided take into sight. 35 seconds left to go. Solotov taking damage, but finding a kill with a headshot onto Rush and just making it difficult to get into maps. He finds himself a second. This time shuts down Exodus, and it is now 4 versus 3 as that man count swings in MNM's favour.
Beautiful stuff, and now it all comes down to a 3 versus 4 with very little time left, only 15 seconds. Smash looking for the man in behind the bar, but gets shot out from inside a Vault as well. 3 members of MNM all looking the right way. Flares will find one back, but time is not on their side. In fact, there are 5 seconds. He's got a Vault in here, in he steps. Plant going down, but if Flares drops here, there is no cover remaining. Finds one, but one runs round. They get the spray down onto a mission. Nello just a little bit too quick, and they get the shut down.
Fraction of a second there for Nello to make that shot, and he does indeed hit exactly where he needs to. Emission not able to react quickly enough, and MNM going to take that opening round. It's also worth mentioning, we did come into the last game talking about the potential kill record. Coming into this one, Usus is on 40, Smash is on 41. So 17 kills for Usus will equal the record. 18 kills here on Villa will surpass it, and 17 and 16 will do the same job for Smash. But it may well be the last map that they have an opportunity to do that on. So that 57 record starting to look a little bit safer. If it goes to 5 maps, I think it gets broken. If it stays at 4, maybe not.
Looking defensible.
I'm sure that Usus won't mind missing out on the record if they win the 4th map and gets into a UL. I'm sure he'll be quite fine with that.
He's going to bed tonight absolutely gutted that he couldn't break the record. Like, boys, EUL wasn't the prize. I just wanted to be in the history books, right? That's all he was looking for, I'm sure. Let's see how the defense up towards the top side goes, though, up and towards Trophy and Statuary, and as you come to expect, there is going to be a hold inside of Astro. A bunch of ADS is being dropped down, other gadgetry being deployed, and I imagine we'll see Nello's shield get committed towards being inside there soon as well, just to make it a little bit more secure to hold inside there behind that black box, and then pace yourself out and look for some exchanging shots down in towards the bathroom once that challenge comes through. The big challenge for me is where a HellRaiser is going to attack from, and they're looking in towards bedroom to go for a more normal northeast side attack, or do they want to start on study side and work their way up? Because if they start on study side, they've got Usus and Tyrant to worry about.
And at the minute, those are 2 of the players particularly to worry about on the side of MNM. Tyrant, we commented on having a fantastic game on Chalet, and I'm sure MNM are going to be hoping that that hasn't slowed down at all now that they've got themselves onto Villa. For the time being, Exodus is going to rush in underneath. First 20 seconds, and he's inside of the map. He's drawn in. He's looking for the peak holes. He's looking for the set up, and as we saw last time, they were able to get some joy. It was Smash on the sledge who managed to get the kill from underneath with the nade, and I'm sure they'll be looking for a little bit more of the same, but also to clear out any wall denial utility that may have been applied there. You can just move in underneath, use your explosives, use your gun, shoot them out, and just clear the path for those attacking above.
Absolutely, it's the verticals that are going to matter here, and MNM throughout the series haven't been fantastic at taking vertical control, whether above or below. That has often fallen to HellRaisers to play and make use of the verticals to deny away MNM from achieving what it is they want to get done. Of course, MNM here on the defense can worry just about the top floor, but it does mean they could be subjected to play for coming in from below. The grenades, as we've already seen, there was a couple of kills in the last round as a result of what was going on below. And here at least HellRaisers have taken away one Electro Claw. Another one coming out will be zapped off this wall, giving them another one to remove.
And will clear out some of that hard breach utility. Now then, Solotov moves in, just manages to retrieve that Electroclaw, so does have the option of redeploying it again. He's just trying to bait out that final nade from Smash so that he can do so safely, but they're going to time this to try and make sure that it's all combined and prevents the Electroclaw being deployed again. Now, I'm not sure if that breach has been activated just yet. We can see more explosives and more fighting over that triple wall. There is one breach been opened up, but it would not be enough to pass through at this point in time. Tyrant looking like he might just try and get aggressive up onto that master bedroom door.
Wants to go play a bit of golf and go for a big swing here, I imagine. No, playing a little more passively. They're so keen to deny this wall and keep it closed. Solotov finding one onto Flares to kick the round off. However, this has come at that 50-second mark. It has been very slow up to this point with all the focus being on that triple wall. I do think it's finally being opened up, but Neo's found one as he now races his way back up these Astro stairs to provide a bit of challenge. Clearly catching one man completely unawares as he's taken no damage for himself. Two more coming for MNM, and this is looking like a flawless round unless Rush can find something. He will find one, instantly shut down. A near flawless round, you may as well call it, but another one for MNM.
Nello and Neo just playing Astro beautifully there. Neo taking the attention of the first man who tried to push in, unaware that Nello was there. Peakskin gets his shotgun kill, so the second one comes in with a focus on Nello, and Neo has just perfectly timed it to move back and get that trade, and that is just great.
Slowed down a lot on this map where the engagements aren't really coming until the final 60 seconds, and they just look a little less sure of themselves. It's not that MNM looks super convincing, I'd wager. It's more that HellRaisers don't look too confident in going forward for the push. But we expected this coming into the later ends of the map pool. We knew that Villa and Cafe would be kind of the lower to middle of the park, sort of middle of the list sort of maps for both of these teams. They've gone through the most popular maps they wanted to play. They've banned away the ones that they really didn't want to play that were arguably the other team's strongest. So not at all surprised that you're going to start seeing things slow down a little bit here when you also include the tiredness of playing what has been a bit of a slog so far.
That's it, mentally, you know, these players are going to be drained. There's no two ways about that. Now then, we're going to be heading down to the bottom floor, or the mid floor really, the ground floor. It's not quite the basement, but it's going to be dining and kitchen for round number 3. MNM so far successful on the 2 top floor sides, likely to try and keep hold of that top floor for at least a token amount of time. Once again, they don't want to allow Smash to just go in there and start ripping up the flooring with that big sledgehammer, but Exodus on the Jackal could make that more possible. He's going to make it very difficult for these players up on the top floor. If he gets in and starts finding those footprints, tracking them down, it will make it a lot less comfortable for them.
Absolutely. Well, on this downstairs is the one that historically you would look at maybe 12 months ago plus, you'd be saying, oh, well, you win the 2 upstairs sites, you lose the downstairs. It's the go-to standard on Villa, yada, yada. A number of teams then started actually playing dining and kitchen as one of their go-to primary sites, or you would rotate there before going into trophy and statuary, and trophy and statuary became the off-site for a number of teams. Here, at least for MNM, they're playing this one out across the entire map. Look at this. Solotov literally at the other end of the map, almost loses out on the entry battle, but no one's playing on that door on the downstairs, and that is such a common door to be sitting on, waiting for someone to vault over, but isn't punished for it and gets away with his life. And here, Yuzu strikes first, Smash being dropped.
Solotov was definitely lucky to escape there, and MNM, they're going to be counting their blessings coming away in this round with the opening kill as well. A nice nitro from Yuzus, and that gives them a good advantage. The top floor clearance continues here, but let's think for a second about the operator that's been lost. It is Sledge that has gone. The absolute bulk of your vertical destruction is now not going to be possible. Jackal potentially with that shotgun secondary, it may be an option, but it's not fantastic. It's not going to do the same job as that sledgehammer, and it's not going to do it as quickly.
It'd be great if, like back on Clubhouse, they'd brought along 6 breaching charges on a couple of operators they brought with them, but that isn't here in this round, so it is the full reliance on Exodus to do the work with this ITA. It's not going to be enough for them to get everything opened up, but they can open up the key angles they need to, where they know defenders might sit and play, to where they want to go for a plant, for example. They can get that sort of stuff open, but they won't have full coverage, and you can already see him chewing through the ammo in the shotgun, down to about 20 to 23 shots or so still left. It's not really worth counting just yet, but that won't last long.
It won't, and you know, when you look at how much has been open, the lines of sight, it's not fantastic efficiency in trying to do so. Now, users looking to use those angles that they've opened up against them. They do, of course, work both ways, and he's just waiting, just biding his time, looking for that moment to be able to strike onto the attackers who are playing up on that top floor. Now, 45 seconds left to go here for MNM to hold on. They're pretty comfortable, though, it feels like. They're just ducking around in sight, keeping themselves off the radar. This could be a beautiful nade. Comes in. What a kill from a mission to take users down, just using that wall to bounce it back onto his man. Not going to get lucky with the second, though. 4 versus 4, 30 seconds left.
Still time to play with, absolutely, but when 4 are left alive, I feel a little bit nervy for the side of HellRaisers. Rush, or someone has got to do massive pushing onto the first floor. He's looking to come in from the west side, but spotted out by the Banshee. The swing comes in. They know where he is. Tyrant can just afford to sit and wait, and as soon as he steps in, it's a freebie, but he sprays a bit too soon. Neo out with the shotgun. Tyrant 1, Neo a second. That's how this round closes out. It's going to be 3-0 to MNM, and I don't want to get too excited, but this is how the last map started, and they went on to win that one. It's a brilliant start for MNM.
It really feels like MNM can taste the UL right now, and they've just got that drive, that motivation. You know, imagine the fire that could light in your players, that they know that they are currently just 4 rounds away, Des. That is all it is going to take for them, and there's another 3 potentially for them here on defence. They've already gone through Aviator Games Trophy, they've gone through Dining Kitchen, they've been unstoppable so far on the defence. If they can repeat that, they are all but there.
Looks like we're having another game of red light, green light here, Ace. The Osa returning once again in round 4. It wasn't the most effective for them previously, is what concerns me ever so slightly. I said at the time, you know, that it slows you down. You're kind of playing behind this crawling forward. And on Coastline, I sort of theorised, you know, when the Flores was there, when the Osa was there, is the rest of the team going to push on forwards, or will they play behind these slower operators? And the answer so far has been play behind them. We need to see them being more effective. I don't think them putting them really static and stationary is the go-to play. MNM dealt with them without really much concern or trouble. So let's see something different here, HellRaisers. Let's see you make this operator work. You've tried to make it a few times today. It hasn't been successful so far. Now's a good time to get it right.
Back to Aviator Games once again. As you say, they also dealt with fairly easily by MNM last time around, just utilising the explosives they had on side. There was an opportunity for HellRaisers towards the end of that round. Let's not forget about that. You know, they did play that well. Amision on the cover, trying to get that diffuser down. It was just all down to that last second peak from Nello that Amision just couldn't do anything about. But HellRaisers, you feel like they don't need to tweak too much here in order to be able to get in and successfully get that diffuser down. Now we move into the action phase. We've got Neo just playing underneath for the time being on the Jaeger, heading back in the direction of living room and library, and then playing in around Astro Stairs. We'll see exactly where he pops up, but he's been keeping himself unpredictable so far.
The way to do it. Exodus doing the same return as he always does. The small difference between him and Joystick, by the way, because I made this comparison earlier, Joystick will come in from the kind of east side and push his way in, whereas you always see Exodus coming in through pantry and stepping his way up through there and his entry into the bottom floor and just making sure it's cleared out. So very small differences, but the same sort of achievement being made, in that you get full control of that first floor, or at least a critical area of it. Rush kind of now using the shields as a sort of like a droning sort of thing, picking up information, being led in to be a bit secure behind the shield. Hasn't yet had to set any up, but I imagine he'll look towards 1 on 90, like we're going to see now. And I imagine that triggers that Torrent will step out at some point and just go yeeting this out to try and get rid of the shield nice and easy.
That's it, as he did last time. As soon as he knows that, you know, the possibility is there for the time being, he's downstairs. He's going to be taking a look out of that door. That looks onto master bedroom window, if you're not sure of which window it is that he's looking at. It's the little side window that goes into master bedroom. And I'll tell you what, if Flares oversteps here, Des, he could find himself just getting taken out from that peak. I'm not sure how long Tyrant will hold it for, but it's certainly nice. He's moved back now, so he's going to be safe to go. Exodus steps round and gets the kill onto Nello and gets himself a second onto Neo, and that is the big start that HellRaisers needed. Now, where have we seen this before? All of a sudden, HellRaisers waking up into Villa.
The Osa has been shut down by the C4, though, coming out of the other side. Solotov picking up that one. A 2 versus 4. They shouldn't be able to walk away with this, but Tyrant picks up a freebie onto Exodus. Knows there's one more, but wants to get himself away safely here, I'm sure. Not being pursued, so can get himself back up onto the second floor. So, a 3 versus 2 and 60 seconds to play. This is the best chance HellRaisers will have to win a round.
Certainly is Solotov in an important position. We saw him do extremely well from the maps table last time around, and it's only a 1-man advantage at this point in time. 45 seconds left to go, so HellRaisers need to get moving, and Amision gets them moving with a nade onto Tyrant. It's all up to Solotov, steps out, but Amision is ready and shuts him down from behind that Osa shield, looking in the different direction, but still finds his man, and that's going to be HellRaisers taking their first round here on Villa.
It's a nice start for them. It's good to get something on the board just to kind of get a bit of confidence going that you can indeed score rounds, and that's exactly what they've gone on to achieve. Good start. Now they've got to make it happen on Trophy and Statue, where we saw in round 2 a near flawless round coming out for MNM. Only one quick kill at the very end that was instantly traded, gave anything to HellRaisers' scoreboard in that round. And speaking of scoreboard, can we take a look at the scoreboard real quick and see how we're doing so far? All right, Usus is quiet. Obviously, Ash, pretty quiet as well, so not quite challenging on towards that title just yet. Again, 17, 18 kills, the sort of range we're looking at for both players to be able to break that record. So keep a close eye on that.
It is indeed 17 for Smash, 18 for Users. Will break the record. One less on each of those numbers will equal it. But as you say, a lot of work going to need to be done because this one is absolutely racing by at the minute. We have had a third of our regulation time rounds. 4 have passed, and MNM currently sit 3-1. So there is a maximum of 8 regulation rounds remaining, and then potentially a further 3 overtime rounds should this one tie up. But at the moment, the smart money has got to be looking towards MNM. They've been very solid on the defence, and as I've said, throughout those maps that they've won, Clubhouse 8-6, it went to overtime, but then Chalet 7-3, a much better win. They just seem to be picking up the pace each time. It's them that are growing into this fixture.
Absolutely. Let's see what this round looks like. Then again, another extension off towards the south. 2 players there with Neo roaming around on the downstairs. May find himself greeting Exodus earlier than anticipated because he's going to go for his normal entry here. This one actually a little bit different, where again, normally you see Joystick doing this kind of push. Step inside and then working your way up and towards this first floor and hoping to find someone to challenge. Has got drones at his feet, which is why Neo is going to back away here, and he's back on the upstairs. 2 of them currently to the south, 1 holding at the top of red stairs. Enough to give HellRaisers something to clear. Again, looking to play into that slower play style that the Russian side has had historically and force them to be a little bit panicky when it comes to the last 30 seconds or so.
That's it. Neo and Nello last time were giving up the lives on the bottom floor, but this time they decide not to hold that area quite as strictly, quite as strongly as they did previously. The nade this time from Emission, not able to find anybody from underneath. There is an absolute fraction of damage been done to Users, but that is absolutely all at the minute. HellRaisers just settling into the round after that first minute, taking a breath, and I think just having a look and just assessing exactly where they are up to. That's the second nade used by Emission to try and clear out some utility, I would expect. Maybe a Banshee was placed down at the bottom of Astro Stairs. As you say, Smash manages to find Neo, and that's another entry kill for HellRaisers, and that is something that we know really helps drive them into the rounds. It's the rounds where they take that death to begin with that they really struggle.
You can hear players getting to work on the triple wall, though, mind you. Yes, there's a lot of pressure coming in on this side, but elsewhere, things are starting to move. It's Exodus being shut down by Tyrant as he comes his way back up red stairs, shuts down the man who was playing on the below. A C4 in hand, just daring flares to get this wall open. You can kill them by throwing the C4 at the bottom of the wall, assuming they're close enough. They're going to try and go for it here. Out it comes, but it already stepped too far away. Flare's going to be perfectly safe.
Well played from him, and great work on the Maverick there to get that triple wall open, which it will be in a second, I have absolutely no doubt. There you go. Nello needs to be careful there because he's just exposing himself to the angle from bedroom potential. But look at that shot. Does get taken down on the angle that I suggested by Flares, but does some damage before he goes, and that leaves us now 3 versus 3, 45 seconds left to go. Flares pushing in from bathroom, looking to make a challenge through Astro, but he is going to front up to Users, who's looking to shut down that avenue. Sees his man, not quite, can't get the pixel through the debris there. 3 versus 3. That's it, he knows exactly where this is coming from. He just needs to wait it out patiently. Users just waiting for that exposure as the man moves across the rotation. Shut down by Rush, but Solotov finds Flares, and MNM again keep themselves level. The pressure is mounting.
You're absolutely livid about that as well, thinking that your man had you covered from the other side, but look from below here as well. Out comes the Pokeball, blows the 4 open, but Tyrant shut down. A 1 versus 1. Emission needs to win this now, charging his way forward. Does he know? Solotov clutches out round 5. MNM move up to 4.
Absolutely flying inside a Villa. That one was certainly closer than the defence of Trophy and Statuary that we saw last time around, but MNM come away the victors regardless.
I tell you what, I need to see the stats after this series of how many clutches Solotovs have got.
Solotov's been all day crazy
I
today.
just wrote it down then, Solotov 1v1, and I write that down in my notes whenever I see this happen, and I must have wrote it at least 5 times
Just
so
stick it
far.
on copy-paste.
It's ridiculous. Honestly, it's happening so often. Mega performance at the very end there in that 1 versus 1 to make sure MNM get round number 4. Another very tight round, and one that you maybe would have given to HellRaisers if not for the support of Tyrant coming in from below with that impact nade. 4-on-1 they sit at as we go into the last defensive round, and it is on that critical site of Aviator Games. HellRaisers, they lean so heavily into the Osa. Normally, it's not being brought along in this round. Instead, we've got the Decabi coming in for Flair, so a little bit of difference being brought in this round, but will it have enough impact to get them the round win?
Something that we're going to find out in the next 3 minutes. MNM they must feel like they're living in a dream at the minute. There's 4-1, so at least an advantage secured in this first half. There is now an opportunity for them to go 5-1, and you just feel like this is starting to run away from HellRaisers a little bit. And no doubt most people at home, any neutrals, will want to see HellRaisers make a run at this, get themselves back into it. Let's have a fight, they said on the desk. We'd love to see a fifth map. Both of these teams having put performances down that deserve that opportunity, but right now HellRaisers, they just feel like, for me, they're a little bit beaten up here and they're a little bit on the back foot.
I've always been a massive proponent of wait until you see the first couple of rounds of the second half, because on maps like this, especially as sprawling as Villa is, it can be quite defender leaning even in the attacker-sided meta that we've currently got. So I'll wait and see what HellRaisers can deliver in their first couple of rounds, but it could prove out that Emmy is correct and it ends here 3-1.
Certainly could do. At this point in time, it wouldn't be any surprise whatsoever. Tyrant down in the basement, one to keep an eye on, especially if HellRaisers haven't picked up on him. He could be very, very damaging.
He's been doing this all map as well.
Certainly has. He's been moving around. He's been making himself mobile. Very difficult to pin down, and just trying to get into those positions where you can get that impactful 1 or 2 kills and then just drift away and get yourself back onto site.
Right, well, if he can cause damage the same way he did in the last round and win it out for his team, no one's going to complain how long he spends hiding in Narnia. See how it steps forward. HellRaisers, 60 seconds in. They should have the idea, yes. Now that they know, don't think you want to go chasing him. The basement's huge. You'll lose even more time. And against a team that is already slow, I don't know. It doesn't feel like a smart idea, personally. At least here, they're trying to burn through some of these smoke canisters. Nello already whipping out the first one at about the 2-minute mark and deploying it. The more you burn through that now, the less you got to deal with in the dying moments of the round. So a win, at least here for HellRaisers.
Tyrant's moved himself up into kitchen there. Doesn't know that there's one through Immemorial, I don't think. He's just dipped away from him. But the question is, does Exodus, I think it's Exodus out that way, does he know exactly where Tyrant is? Now then, this could spoil the party. He hears the noise, he sees the man, he takes the shot, he gets the kill. Tyrant shuts down Smash, and that's a beautiful start. And look at this.
God.
Impact nade dips away and disappears into basement, just as I suggested he might.
It's a pain, because you're probably asking questions there towards HellRaisers. Where are the flank drones in this case? You have 7 on the field, and not a single one was watching him push through the entirety of kitchen after coming up through pantry and working his way in towards living library area. It's a bit of a kicker for the side of HellRaisers. They know they've messed up there, and the round is just falling apart from here. Yuzu's finding Rush. A 5 versus 2. A mission looking in towards the site, but he'll be challenged from 2 or 3 angles. As the C4 goes off at his feet, it's all starting to fall to tatters. Exodus, a small saving grace. 1 does come back on their side, but a 4 versus 2, we know how these play out, Tim.
Gon6 used to just clear out the utility there. We certainly do know generally how they play out. I don't know how Exodus gets away with that. Moves in, does not get challenged by Nello initially, and that allows him to get the kill onto users, but Nello makes amends as he finds the man as he moves back across with a headshot. A mission shut down by Solotov. MNM 5-1, and they're starting to snowball here, Des. This is starting to run away from HellRaisers.
At 5-1, it does say there's a lot of work for them to get done. The big question is, can MNM pull off attacks as well as they have defended? With HellRaisers on the defensive side, you saw it back on Coast. I thought the defenses were very, very convincing back at the start of Coastline. The attacks is where it then started to even out a little bit more, even though we had 3-3 halves on both sides. Generally, maps being a little bit easier to defend if you're not comfortable on them, then it is easier to attack. So if MNM are prepped here and they know what they're doing, this could be a very quick 2 or 3 rounds to get them over the finish line. But I would not write HellRaisers off just yet.
No, absolutely not. But the problem for HellRaisers now is they know that they're on the brink. You know, they've got to keep some positivity in the side. It won't be easy at this point. It really becomes a little bit of a mental game for them now. They've got to get a couple of rounds so that they feel like they're back in touch. They feel like they're back into it. You know, this really does show how much resolve this squad has got, and they're going to need plenty of it, because right now, MNM, they can taste it, Des. They can touch EUL. They're 2 rounds away, and they're not going to be easy to stop these players. We're going up to top floor. It's going to be trophy and statuary as a defence for HellRaisers. They've got the electroclaws on the wall there just to try and deny. Both of them have been applied, so if they are cleared out, that is going to be that.
2 of them charging off onto the downstairs, reinforcing, dropping down gates. I imagine you might see a jammer or 2 coming out for Rush as well. So rather than just having like one man looking to kind of lurk back in here later into the round like Tyrant did, they actually want to commit to a hold downstairs, deny drones access in towards this ground floor, and look to commit to sitting down there with two without any intent of concealing their presence. Now, if you remember for MNM, back when they were defending up here, they were the ones holding very aggressively onto the second floor, and they nicked a couple of kills off the back of it as well. This time it's Smash being the one who's looking to contest on towards the south balcony. So who wins this firefight is going to be the big question.
That's it, they're now aware of Smash's position. He's been able to take 2 drones out. I don't know how much MNM gained from that second drone going in. He's still there. You know that he's going to be there and he's going to hold off for as long as possible. Shots do rain in towards him. Exodus taken down by users, and that is not the start that HellRaisers wanted to this round, as it is just yet another nail in the coffin for HellRaisers here in this fight to try and get themselves into EUL.
He just looked away at the exact wrong second there as well. Did flick back, but by that time, Users already had his number, as you would come to expect, given he is the kill leader in Challenger League so far. So they'll have to try and perform for the rest of this round on a one-man disadvantage. This is all inside about 60 seconds as well, mind you. So MNM have done a good job of finding the one entry man they need and can now look to try and step their way forwards.
Smash just taking out that air jab utility, but moving himself at the same time out of master bedroom and back into sight. Rush hasn't been dealt with on the downstairs yet, and HellRaisers are far from beaten here. They are holding their ground. They are still confident in their defence, and they don't want to give up the downstairs. They know that MNM are likely to try and push through, although as time goes on, it gets more and more likely that they just head up towards sight. But in goes Neo, makes the challenge, can't quite find the kill. Solotov loses his life to Rush.
Rush.
A mission onto Tyrant, and somehow Rush has escaped.
Straight back into Memorial as well, getting chased onto the window. He's reloading, and Users pursued him the whole way to the ends of the earth. He would have followed him. 2 kills in the round for Users here, keeping MNM's hopes alive of getting this round closed out. And a rotation here by the looks of it. They want to go up onto the top floor and maybe look towards Astro, push their way in through there, rather than trying to push their way up red stairs, which is what I assume they might go for. Looks like it is going to be this northeast side take.
It all comes down to the 3 that are left on site for HellRaisers. Now, need to hold this down whilst MNM don't have any real access to site as of yet. Neo just half a second too late there to manage to land shots onto Smash, but there's work to be done. Electroclaws are still active on that triple wall. 20 seconds left to go. There are 2 more Toxic Babe canisters that can be deployed here. 1 left now in the hand of Flares. Users taking a ton of damage there as he moves through, taken out by Smash, who is playing inside a statuary, and it's all falling apart for MNM on an attack that looked to start out so well for them. 5 seconds. Well played by HellRaisers. Beautiful use of those Toxic Babe canisters in the late round there. Recognised where the push was coming from. Knew it was a single door in bathroom. Flares even got a kill with one of them, as the MNM players had absolutely no choice other than to try and push through. Well held on by HellRaisers.
Rotating off, I think, a little bit late, to be honest with you. Like, I don't know, trying to go and push up onto the top floor, like, without really focusing on the bottom floor anymore. After that is where 2 minutes of your round have been spent. It's a little bit questionable, because then you've got to wheel with an electrified wall. You've got to try and force your way in through Astro, where there are still 3 smoke canisters waiting. Just goes to show that when the clock is pressuring you onwards, you're kind of forced to make some less than ideal decisions. And that first attack, a bit of a car crash coming out for MNM. This is what I was fearful of for them. Sure, you can be 5-1 up on the defense, but it doesn't mean HellRaisers can't go on to have very convincing defensive rounds themselves and bring us another 5-1 half. I tell you what, though, I don't think I've ever seen this, Tim. 5 C4s being brought along by the side of HellRaisers. Every single one of them has got an explosive in back pocket.
That is a lot of explosive power, that much is to be sure. But the big question is, will the Rue not bring in that other utility? No barbed wire, no bulletproof cameras. You know, the utility that we really rely upon is now not present. They've got 5 explosives. They need to be finding some vertical kills. That's what they're aiming for. They're looking for those players when they're on the top floor to just be hitting them from underneath. They've got the pulse of Emission. They're looking to tie up with him and to just make it a living hell for MNM up on the top floor. But I tell you what, if they don't find those kills, it could come back to bite them.
I always say this as well with the can traps. You spot 1, you know there's 4 more somewhere around the map. Can just do enough to slow MNM down at certain points. But knowing that you've got lethal double stacks coming up from those can traps, in case you missed that change, you can now, of course, stack all 5 on a doorway if you want, but You wouldn't really want to do that, given 2 together will net you a kill. 120 damage in total in most cases will kill everyone except the chunkiest of boys. However, a grenade comes singing through, finds out Exodus. That is 1 C4 off the board, as well as the Kai being removed. So a good start for MNM.
Interesting when HellRaisers have brought so much explosive utility that they lose their first man to the attackers' explosive utility. Amision just feeding that information in on where these attackers are stacking up and trying to push through. They are already in. Nitro goes over the top. That's one. I said that they had to find kills with those explosives. Flares does exactly that onto Solotov. 4 versus 4. HellRaisers just finding themselves with a toehold back into this round.
It's a good start to find at least something out of those C4s. It'd be tragic to bring 5 and not get a single kill. The Flares here holding with a shotgun, so if someone dares try and push into this door, they can see the laser sight, let's not forget. So they must know there's a shotgun holder on the other side of that door. MNM looking to steamroll their way up through Pantry here while the distraction is going on elsewhere. Flares finding the kill. That means that push down to the south is over, and everyone else has got to come in here up towards Pantry. 2 players left against 4. This is another decisive round coming out for HellRaisers, and can you smell that comeback, Tim? It feels like it's on.
You can. We all love an underdog story, and inside of Villa at least, HellRaisers looked like the underdogs at half-time, 5-1 down, but boy, are they fighting. They have come out of their corner swinging, Des. They were far from punch-drunk after that first half, and they are looking great. Flares really stepped up there in that half for his team, getting himself the Nitro opener, then the shotgun on the tight angle. Great play from him just to prevent that push. As you said, it felt like MNM were just trying to brute force their way into sight a little bit rather than playing above, and he shut that avenue down.
I think what concerns me a bit is that attack looked very weak out of MNM, to be honest, just kind of brute forcing their way in through 2 key locations and saying, okay, that's enough, we'll give it a good go. They fall apart to C4s, to shotguns, to the long angles. I completely sympathise with not wanting to play vertically, knowing there are 5 C4s and a pulse on side and can traps up on the top floor. They definitely did their job of dissuading MNM from taking vertical control. But you saw it all fall apart from there when the actual pushes in through single doorways just completely tore them asunder. We need to see MNM buck up their ideas. Otherwise, again, I get that horrible feeling that HellRaisers will bounce back into this series and Cafe will be the decider.
If you remember the first 3 rounds of Villa, it was MNM in a full defensive rotation, went 3-0. Right now, HellRaisers stand on the threshold of doing exactly the same. They're in Aviator games. They've already won Trophy Statuary. They've already won Dining Kitchen. And this time they're going to try and take that second top floor site and make it their fortress. Now then, Smash setting himself up like he's going to be playing at the top of main stairs there. Not something that we saw too much out of MNM. We didn't see that south side had pushed too much. It's something that seems to have just dropped out of popularity a little bit. It used to be all about the battle at the top of main stairs there, but this time it seems to have moved a lot over to the north side, moving through Master, getting control of 90, trying to move into maps. Tends to be a big focus for the attackers. We'll see exactly where MNM stack up and how well placed Smash is in this grand scheme of things.
It's about breaking open these critical locations that they've struggled to do so far. Main stairs looking to be one because 2 players of HellRaisers are sat dancing around here. One being that Thunderbird for all the health top-ups, some ADSs, a shield, you name it. All sorts committed to making sure this is hard to break open. They've even got the study balcony being contested as well. So for MNM, they've got to choose here. Do we try and strong arm or force our way through these defensive days set up? Or do we look elsewhere? Sees the head, and Exodus lands a beautiful shot. I know his kills aren't all that high in this game, but the mobility of Exodus throughout this entire series has been phenomenal to watch. He's seemingly everywhere all at once.
He really is, like you say, and he just seems to pop up and gets kills when HellRaisers need it. You might not have the most of them, but they're all very impactful. They all seem to have a bearing on the outcome of a round, and we'll see as this one progresses whether that is the case with the kill onto Solotov. If nothing else, it was a very nice pickup as he saw the man's head. Now then, Amision nearly losing his life to a nade there, but will manage to evade it. Out goes the Nitro, but Neo just able to dip away, takes a little bit of damage, just adjusts himself so that he's pushing onto the door instead of the window. Doesn't quite see the man, I think, because of the furniture just sat on top of that outdoor fireplace, but it allows Exodus to escape.
He was caught between a rock and a hard place there. Good thing he got away, and they'll reinforce the wall off as well. Really nice drawback from HellRaisers. Sure, they've lost control of main stairs, but they burnt through 2 minutes. And of course, Solotov died earlier on, so once again, a wonderful position for the Russians to be in.
It really is. Exodus and Smash now have just got themselves locked down inside a site. They've got the double reinforcement next to Bar, so it's going to mean that Nello has to go in and get that opened up if they want to be able to push in from the 90 corridor side. Alternatively, they're going to be left with a push through study door. At the minute, I think it's going to be the Bar push, as we can hear the ex-Kairos pellets there, but a risk is taken by the Thunderbirds. Smash just stepping out and trying to shoot that utility away. I'm not sure how successful he's been. He's going to lose his life as he tries it a second time. Tyrant ready for it, but Exodus manages to get Usus in that flurry of the mid-round. 20 seconds left to go. Neo on the rappel, and right now HellRaisers are looking pretty good, Des. I'm not sure MNM are going to get themselves comfortable access into site. It's all up to Rush. He gets himself one, cut down by Neo as he repels him, but no, it's too little too late by MNM, and that's going to be another round to HellRaisers. It's 3 in a row, and they are making a fight of it, Des. The comeback is on.
As you said, though, in that last round, this is how things started for MNM in their half. 3 rounds back to back, and then we finally started to see something come back for the other side. In fact, it was round 4 that was won by HellRaisers in the first half. So if we're following a pattern, this is where MNM get themselves on top. Again, a bit concerned that there's not more conversation going on here. There's a timeout coming through, you know, that sort of thing. Let's get back on the horse here, boys, because otherwise you're finding this going through to map 5, and I do not want to be either team, any player in the server, going through to a single map that determines whether you make it into Tier 1 play next year or you don't.
I don't want to be my heart going into that. You know, you just look at it going through to a 5th map, it's almost certainly going to go to, you know, we all know where that ends. It ends in overtime, it ends in a last round 1v1. You know, I've got damn wonky your face flashbacks all over again. You know, that's exactly the sort of finish that we are on for. But right now, we've got to get there. There is still time for MNM to close this one out. Round number 10, 3 remaining here, but HellRaisers have had 3 back-to-back. They've been able to fight their way back into this. MNM, right now, they must feel like they're watching this slip away from them, Des. EUL was there. It was within their grasp. They had 5 rounds out of the first half, and it must just feel like trying to grasp smoke at the minute.
It's a bit impossible, isn't it? It's a scary one, but if there's any time to turn it around, it is now for MNM. Let's see where their push is going to come in. Will they be contested off down to the south side again? Or will it be the north side push? Because the concern for me last time on this site was they did all this work on the downstairs, spent a good 2 minutes down there doing what they needed to do. When it then came round to a flip and they thought, okay, now we've got to try and actually execute, they just went into the northeast side of the top floor, pushed into master, and were like, oh, wall's electrified. Oh, we haven't got any way of stopping these 3 smoke canisters coming out. And it was no surprise at all that they got bit by that. So I'm glad to see that, you know, at least for MNM, there should be some acknowledgement of that. They should be knowing, okay, we need to get on the top floor sooner, and that appears to be at least where Yuzus is starting.
Drone just getting caught in a mute jam. It will be easily collected. It's not lost, but it's just going to waste a little bit of time. If nothing else, it's 5 or 10 seconds that drone could have been racing in, gathering intel that's going to have to be picked up, redeployed, and it is those small margins that can add up sometimes in these rounds. We're a minute in, and HellRaisers yet to come under any real challenge at the minute. Rush all the way down in the basement. We saw the impact that Tyrant had from there. Exodus, Amision in dining and in living room library, respective library. New call out, library. Maybe I'll just start calling everything twice. He's in trophy. We can't miss the call out then, can we?
He's on Anna. Go on all day long. Nightmare. However, Exodus on the downstairs anyway, looking once again to cause a bit of trouble. We've seen him and Rush committing as a combo, as a duo, to being on this ground floor, to waste as much time as they can, and maybe even look to play behind the C4 of Rush. It's either pre-placed or it's already been popped off somewhere, by the way, so that's something MNM have got to watch out for. But it's the same as before here, where I thought maybe they'd realise it and change. Again, we're coming down to that 60-second mark, and they're still committing onto the ground floor.
Great attempt from Solotov there. Never easy to judge those vertical challenges, but nearly catching the head of the Kaid. But I tell you what, you can nearly catch all you want. He's caught some bullets there and been downed. He's now able to dip away. It was, I think, the man moving up from underneath, Exodus on Aruni, just playing on those red stairs, was able to get the down. Solotov has been able to pick himself up because of that thinker ability, but finds himself now on 20 health, and MNM have not made any real progress, Des.
No, it's the same as last much time, and I'm just concerned this brings us up to 5-5, and HellRaisers then career forward towards victory. That's the sense that I'm starting to get. Grenade in hand here at least, and surely can come out and remove the shield, but is it too little too late? Doesn't know that Rush is off just to the side here, and in comes the push. That's all too easy to shut down Tyrant, and HellRaisers into a 5 versus 4 with only 25 seconds still to play, yet still looking. Rush is hanging here on the Astro stairs, and Nade will follow him down. Nowhere near to do any damage. Now he's being pushed back up. Flares has been lethal with a shotgun on this map. Finds one. Solotov another, but can he find the shotgun wielder himself? No, he can't. You can't swing and win those. He finds a second. Smash the next. We're back up to 5-5.
We got a game, and I am here for it. HellRaisers have stepped up. It's 5-5. We're guaranteed 12 rounds on Villa.
Always. So as large as the map is, these rooms are very tight to get in and out of is the concern. And you're really seeing HellRaisers make them pay the price for this. Dining and kitchen we step into next. And my God, do I hope that MNM have got a plan. Here they're coming up against 4 C4s rather than the 5 as before. Now the smoke is being brought along. Didn't really see them used to amazing effect. We did get the 1 kill coming through. Wasn't anything spectacular, but it was a kill nonetheless. And imagine this round could play out much the same.
MNM, your time is now. If you want to close this one out before going to that 5th map, you're going to need to get yourself around, because otherwise the only way you can do it is via overtime. 2 maps out of 3 so far have already gone to overtime. Look up at the top of your screen, just off to the right of that HellRaisers logo. You can see our wonderful production team keep track of the scores for you. 8-7, 8-6. First 2 maps going to overtime. MNM, he's able to relatively easily win on Chalet 7-3, but HellRaisers, they really have fought their way back in here. It's going to be dining kitchen. The last time that we saw this defended was round 8. It was, surprise, surprise, a HellRaisers win. They've won all of their defences so far. 4 rounds in a row. And like we said, MNM, I'm not even going to call it sloppiness. I think it's just down to the length of time that they've been playing, the pressure that they're under. Inevitably, cracks will start to show. And the odd mistake will be picked up.
Swarm peek, maybe. Knows the shot's coming in. Does he want to challenge it? No. Backs away from that one. I know he's feeling a bit cheeky for a couple of seconds, but not quite cheeky enough that he's going to peek onto a hole that's just been shot at. That would be a little bit of a crazy idea. Emission doing what he can once again with this pulse, a similar position. This time there's only one person standing there.
He's going to have a look. He's going to have a look.
Please tell me. No, he can't see. Whew, thank God for that.
The thing is, there was a second man that was just moving around the angle that he might be able to see. He's trying to bait it out. Out goes the Nitro!
Oh, Neo, the saviour! Shoots out the C4.
A miracle shot from Neo to keep Solotov alive. And that is the fine margins that we're working with. Solotov barely reacts to that. Nade's going out, damage done. And Solotov just going to use that ability to juice himself back up. And MNM, they keep fighting. But again, Diz, they don't seem to be making a dent for me on this HellRaisers defense.
I know Emission saw his name in lights there with a 2K to keep his team going and get to round 11. But unfortunately, Neo was mentioned, striking at the last second. It must have been down to milliseconds as to when that C4 could have been pulled as well, but a critical shot nonetheless. Tyrant, not quite sure where he wants to play through here. Art Studio going to be the play to move his way up through Piano, but going to be greeted by Exodus. Please know about this. He's got to stand still, so Shaw isn't going to get himself spotted out, but look at this. I love it. Tyrant has pulled back and got on the drone. He sees the leg. He can get a free kill here. If he rushes in, bursts through now, and just looks right. This could be the biggest freebie of his life. Knows that the man's in there, but can't quite find the angle. Goes for a gunfight and wins it. Down goes Exodus. A beautiful play. Even if he moved away from the spot where he was droned on, there's still the caution and the discipline being shown by Tyrant.
Time could still be an enemy for MNM here. Coming into the final minute, they've got themselves the opener onto Kaid, but they now need to start pressure in sight. That is the problem. Emission, Rush, Flares, all locked into positions, all need to be cleared out. Smash still on the roam and can impact in a number of different areas here if he chooses to. And MNM, they need to find themselves another kill realistically before they can think about going in and getting a diffuser down. There is going to be some toxic babe canisters thrown out to try and prevent the push. Here goes Flares again. It's a clone. The second comes in though. Can he find his challenge? He's trying. They are both ducking and weaving around each other. Use as it is onto Smash. Can Flares play spoiler? Unlikely as Tyrant gets 2-3 in the round. Nello finishes it and it's a flawless round from MNM to give themselves not only map point, not only series point, Des, but this is now EUL point for MNM.
They're so close. Tyrant going massive in the round. A 3K, it came out flawless, and we were concerned that it was slow to start as well. You know, we touched on it. They were dancing around out towards the east side, not quite sure when to push in, when to start things off, and eventually pull the trigger and make the moves happen. It all came down to some critical gunfights being won, and again, Tyrant, the discipline on that south side was huge. Otherwise, they have no pressure off to the south, and Tyrant doesn't march on forward to get a 3K.
Can we just come back to the importance of Neo shooting out that nitro?
That would have been a 2K that ended it. Done.
That could have been such a different outcome. And we all know the size of a nitro in this game. It is not a big target. You've got a fraction of a second to hit it realistically before that trigger is detonated. And that is then a very, very different outcome. So whilst it was only a fractional part of the round, whilst Tyrant had a big 3K and lots of other things happened to get MNM that round, we cannot forget that contribution from Neo to ensure that they were able to do that. Absolutely huge from him. MNM, your time is now. You want that spot in EUL, you come out, you win one more round. Dining and Kitchen, that's where they're going again. HellRaisers, they're looking to take us to overtime.
And a small change coming in for HellRaisers is going to be that Smoke being subbed out and Malusi stepping in with the Banshee to slow things down, and of course a Bulletproof. I fully expect the Bulletproof goes into this bookcase on our screen here and can see down into this room that will be slowed down potentially by a Banshee, giving free C4 kills all day long to the side of HellRaisers. In fact, no, it's going inside of the kitchen to watch in towards Pantry instead. So still watching one of the two main entry points that we've seen so far coming out of MNM. It's smart stuff, but they need to find something big with these C4s. Again, you can't really be bringing 4 or 5 C4s and not find a single kill in the round.
30 seconds in. Smash very lucky not to get his head taken off there. Had he been stood up, I think he probably would have lost it, but was being prone, did manage to save him, but once again just dipping away from that challenge. MNM very aware of the potential for those spawn peaks. We saw much more aggression earlier in this game on maps like Coastline. This time it's been a little bit more reserved in terms of those opening peaks. Now, Amision playing in a very similar position to we saw last time around, and I don't think MNM are going to give him the opportunity for that sort of nitro toss that he very nearly got away with last time.
Nope, Nello started doing a little bit of work and then has got himself hell out of dodge very quickly. Once again, Amision is watching out towards Laundry and wondering when the push will begin. No doubt, again, Pantry will be a big part of the attack for MNM. You've got Tyrant working his way across the top floor, Yuzus as well, so a little bit different here, where you haven't got Tyrant swinging down to the south, but that is massive. Exodus, the man that we've been talking about, the top fragger for HellRaisers, the man who has been charging around the map and picking up kills left, right and centre, is out.
It is a big blow for HellRaisers here as they fight to keep themselves in the race for EUL, whereas MNM Gaming now, they're in a position where they know that they are potentially 1 minute 20 or less away from achieving a year-long goal, a year-long dream to make it through Challenger League to the very top tier of Siege. They are heading for the peak.
Oh, they've got it.
They can continue, Solotov finds himself a second, this time onto Amision. We've said how impactful his kills have been throughout the day today, and it continues here and now.
It's not just all about him either. I know the team's name is Molotov and Marshmallows, but Solotov is starting to live up to the namesake in some way. 2 huge kills to get the round going. The 5 versus 3 and 40 seconds to play. But Smash, he's looking to cause a little bit of trouble to get up in the backside of MNM here and find 1 or 2 if he can. Out comes the first Lion scan and he finds another. It's a 3K in the round for Solotov and Rush. The panic station sets him. Him and Smash have got to work some magic. Smash whiffing some critical shots. He needed to land those there and then, but he's missed it. And that could be all that it takes. Rush, back it up. The flashbang comes out. Poor timing from Neo, but the long angle is there. The plant was going down. It still is here, Ace, as well. A 4 versus 2. Smash is down. Rush, all that stands between MNM and making it into EUL. Diffuser is down. Can he do anything here? He finds 1, but he's got a clutch out like never seen before. We know he's had some big moments, but this is going to be the biggest. 1 more swings in. They see the angle, but don't yet land the shots. Rush, surely you've got to find something, buddy. You've got 20 seconds still to play with, but MNM find it. They make it into EUL at a second swing of the bat. What a play coming out from them, and what a series we've just witnessed.
And that is the conclusion of a year of work for MNM Gaming as they head into EUL 2022. You can see the relief on the faces. You can see how much it means to players like Nello, the emotion pouring out of that team. And I think everybody can be happy for MNM Gaming and an amazing achievement.